Let's go to Allison, who's on the line in Rochester, New York. Allison, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
So what do you do when your lifelong passion has kind of died due to circumstances beyond your control?
Well, I got to know more. But let me tell you this. Let me tell you this before we dive into it. Here's the answer. We figure out why the lifelong passion in your mind, why it has died. We need to figure that out. And then we look at it, we go, well, that particular version of the passion may have died, but the passion itself doesn't die. I don't believe that. So let's figure out if I'm right. This is fun. There's my answer on the front end. Now let's see if I'm right. I feel fairly confident that I am, but let's dive into this. Tell me what it is and how it died or why it died.
Okay. Some changes at work happened about 5 years ago where I had been being trained for a position, and when it came time for our department head to retire, shortly before that, he said, "We don't feel you're qualified for the position you're supposed to be going into, so we're going to hire somebody from the outside who just so happened to just move into the area."
Okay.
And so for the past 5 years, 4 or 5 years, I've sat at my desk with headphones on because there was a new policy implemented that we couldn't listen to music. As a group, we all had to pick our own music.
Okay. But that's got nothing to do with the dream job, the headphones issue. You're just throwing that out there because you need to get that off your chest. So
I'm throwing it out there because, yes.
Yeah, so let's talk about what's really going on. What was the position? Tell me what the title of the position was, and then quickly the function that you thought you were being trained for, and then that was the dream job, and then they pulled the carpet out from underneath of you.
So the position was photographer, specialized photographer, and not a supervisory position, just straight photographer. And they gave me assistant photographer, which is fine, but I can accept that.
No, hold on. No, you can't. That's why you called me. So let's not talk ourselves into it. Let's own this thing. So I am more and more confident your dream, your passion isn't dead at all. You just didn't get it where you thought you were going to get it. You're an assistant photographer, not a full-time specialized photographer. Tell me what that means, specialized. What did that mean in this particular situation?
It means working in the studio, photographing objects on a daily basis instead of getting the jobs the other photographers don't want. Okay,
great. So your dream job is what? Taking photos of objects or people all day long? What is it?
Ultimately, well, as a teenager, it was to become a National Geographic photographer, but, that's a highly unlikely field to get a job in, especially these days.
Okay, that's fine. But tell me, what is it right now? Name it. What is it?
People.
Okay.
So that's not even...
Yeah, so wait a second. The job that you thought was your dream job was taking pictures of objects in a studio all day long, and what you're telling me right now is you'd like to be taking pictures of people all day long.
Kind of, yes.
What do you mean, kind of? I'm confused.
There's more to it than that.
Well, tell me. I desperately need you to be super clear. Let me tell you why. Because then I'm going to tell you how you get there. We're going to talk about the path. But you told me that you thought what do you do, Ken, when your passion has died? Your passion hasn't died. You still have the passion to take photos all day long. Yes or no?
No. Now, I don't take my camera with me wherever I go anymore. When we go to family events, I don't take my camera with me.
Okay, but then explain how that's the truth, and then it's also the truth that you told me that your dream job is to take pictures of people all day long. How can both of those sentences coexist?
We've started a side business on our farm, and I've developed a passion for that takes priority over everything else.
What's the side business?
We have goats and a farm. Well, basically we have a farm, and we offer camping and yoga on the farm.
Okay, but here's the deal. Allison, I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm trying to wake you up. You're contradicting yourself, and I know what's going on. You do still love photography. Right now, the role and the function of photography in your life right now is a reminder of rejection. It's a reminder of loss. That's why you're not carrying your camera everywhere. But that has nothing to do with the reality is you still love the idea of being a photographer. If I could give it to you today, you'd take it, would you not?
Yes.
Now you're emotional. You know why you're emotional? Because you're realizing what's really going on. You haven't lost your passion. You've been hurt. You've been rejected. You've been overlooked. And it makes you feel underappreciated and maybe makes you feel like you were silly or whatever the emotions are running in your head. They're all very real emotions, but none of it's the truth. You with me, Allison?
Yes, I am.
Now, let me ask you again. If I could magically snap my fingers and give you a full-time position, forget the side business. That is what it is. It's a side business. But if I could give you a full-time job and you were taking photographs all day long, would that not be something that you are deeply passionate about, something you've always wanted to do as a kid?
Yes.
Okay, then. So let's accept that. So in that particular company that you're in right now, is that the only place in Rochester, New York where you can take photos?
No.
Let me ask you this. With the side business getting off and going, do you need to make the same amount of money right now if you were to switch?
No.
Okay. So it seems like to me the opportunity is really, really ripe here in the next weeks, days, months ahead for you to leave the current company and look for an opportunity to take pictures for somebody else, or you launch your own side business. You got two side businesses, and you say, I don't know how you're going to get there, but the way you're going to get there is get that camera back out again and start shooting the stuff that you want to shoot and put yourself out there. There are other companies that need your skills, and you don't need to make as much money, so you can take something that's a little bit more of maybe a backward step in order to move forward. 2 steps backward, 1 step forward, whatever it takes. But what we have realized today is that you longed for a role and you were trained for the role, and then you got overlooked and it hurt. And welcome to life. I get it. It does hurt. I'm glad you're emotional because you've got to get healthy on that and realize that rejection needs to be turned into redirection. I've talked about this on the show. Turn rejection into redirection. Allison, redirect. But with your heart revealing itself right there on that phone call, your passion has not died. Isn't it amazing how the brain will just straight up try to lie to the heart? Golly, Moses, I'm never going to run out of these phone calls, Joe, ever. Allison's brain's trying to talk her heart out of the truth. Well, I know what's going on. Soon as I said, listen, folks, I'm going back into the call because there's a lot of you right now that are in a similar situation. As soon as I went back to Allison say, well, I don't have a passion for it anymore because I don't carry my camera with me. No, you don't, because that camera represents rejection right now. Why? Of course you don't want to carry the camera around. It's a reminder that you didn't get what you want. No, it's not the camera's fault. You know what I mean? It's not the camera's fault. It's like somebody, this is a touchy subject, so I'm going to go another direction, but I'm going to preach on this for a second. If I got beat up today by a guy that had a Louisville Slugger, beat the stew out of me, just beat me up with a bat, and I went on the news the next day and said, hey, I am now going to call on Congress to outlaw Louisville Sluggers because I got beat up by a Louisville Slugger and I would like the Louisville Slugger to be outlawed. Then it would turn into a political football, wouldn't it? And everybody sees where I'm going. Now watch this. Now watch. I'm pulling right back out. I'm not getting political. Every time I'd see a bat the rest of my life, what would that bat remind me of? The beatdown. The very sight of a bat on television would make me angry, right? I'd recoil, all these things. Is it the bat's fault? No, it's the jerk who took the bat and beat the crap out of me. But here's where I'm going with this. You were trained on a camera to do certain artwork, and you were longing for it, and then someone else got it. And so the camera is like the bat. It's not the camera's fault. Fall back in love with the camera. You got to get healthy, but fall back in love with the camera. It's not the camera's fault. It's not the bat's fault. It's the jerk who was wielding the bat. There you go. You don't get that kind of insight anywhere else on talk radio. Ken, where are you going with the Louisville Slugger and getting beat up? Well, here's my point. There's pain associated with so many things in life, and it's real. But you can't. You got to look at the source of the pain, not attach pain to an inanimate object or to a person. What's the source of the pain?